Hello, I'm State Representative Jonathan Deaver from the 28th House District. Welcome to Ohio in Focus.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Ohio in Focus, a program that brings state government to you. I'm Brad Miller. I'm pleased to be joined today by State Representative Jonathan Deaver, who serves the 28th House District, which includes the northern suburbs of Hamilton County. Representative, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me here.
Your first time on the show, so we'll kick it off with you just giving me and some of the viewers back home a brief background of how you got to be here at the State House.
How I got to be here at the State House. Well, I'm a longtime Cincinnati native. Family's been around in Ohio since before it was a state, and was a UC undergraduate fellow, and kind of got involved behind the scenes for a lot of years, working for a lot of different candidates. And after my wife was educated, we came home to raise our family, and we're raising them on the same street my dad grew up on, and there was a need for someone to be responsive to the issues that were facing the 28th, and so I stepped up and began a campaign.
We're a few months in to the 131st General Assembly. What's the experience been like so far?
Well, it's they akin it to drinking through a fire hose, but I guess it all depends on what's inside the fire hose. So for me, it's a lot of coffee, which works real well. It's nice having a background as an attorney and being a legislative aide for a while. So coming in with some of that experience on not only understanding how to read and write law from both perspectives and having a good understanding of how committees work has made the adjustment simpler for me, I think. But there's a lot of important issues Ohio's facing right now, and there's a lot of work to do.
There is no grace period when you first join the General Assembly. You basically dive in head first into the deep end. The biggest part of that is the state operating budget. Can you give the viewers back home some information on that?
Well, sure. The operating budget gets broken up into a couple pieces. So the first is the transportation budget, which deals with all of our roads and bridges and infrastructure. Both sides of the aisle unanimously voted that out and went to the Senate. And right now we're working through that. I think today actually we'll be voting to finalize that. So that part of the budget's done. We also did the workers' compensation budget, was a unanimous vote. And also the industrial piece, which was a unanimous vote. And so the Senate's dealing with those right now. Where we are right now is just the operating funds that takes care of everything else. So our police and fire, our teachers, our schools, and those types of things. So we're kind of fleshing through right now the final components of the tax policy that the governor proposed versus some of the ideas that are coming out of the legislature. Also the school funding is a new model, so we're working through that. And my district specifically, I think we've got 13 school districts, but 7 major ones. All have different needs and unique concerns, and I'm very lucky and blessed to have folks in that area and those superintendents who've been very active in this process so far.
So you are entering your first term. You're also coming in with a new speaker. Cliff Rosenberger is in his 3rd term in the House, but first serving as speaker. One of the first items on his agenda every General Assembly is to appoint members to various committees and subcommittees and things like that. Can you give us a little bit of background on the committees you serve on?
Sure. I'm on the Ways and Means Committee, which this GA, we've kind of been the tax wing of finance. So we're going through all the tax policy from the state of Ohio. So whether it's taxes for individuals, whether it's school taxes, whether it's the CAT tax or the severance tax, we're fleshing those issues out there. I also serve on Judiciary. Judiciary is kind of a body that fleshes out a lot of different areas of law, whether it's real estate law, criminal law, family law, the things that kind of impact folks on a day-to-day basis. I'm also on the Committee for Community and Family Advancement, the subcommittee for Minority Affairs, and then I'm also on Transportation and Infrastructure.
The Community and Family Advancement Committee is a new committee. Can you give us a little background on that?
Yeah, that's it. Representative Tim Garreton is running the committee. Very, very nice fellow from the Oxford area, so just a little bit north of us in Hamilton County. And the overall purpose of that committee is to try to deal with issues that are facing families. So some of the things that I know that the speakers talked about and that the representative has talked about is is finding ways to help folks get up and out of poverty, to work with folks that have either intellectual or physical disabilities, and try to make their lives better as we find ways of making their day-to-day more productive for everybody in Ohio, and getting them to work and finding good career paths for them. So I think that committee is going to tackle some of the harder issues that we've struggled with in the last decade or so, on how we can actually make a permanent impact in people's lives.
You touched on this a little bit earlier. You can learn a lot about a state representative based on the committees they serve on. How do you think this selection of committees kind of reflects your background and the experiences you've had prior to being a member?
Well, I think not only my background, but also the district. The district is very, very diverse. I mean, we've got some of the best neighborhoods in all of the Hamilton County, it would be my argument. We've got some of the best school districts. We've got over 40 languages spoken in our high schools. Within the district, there's approximately 15,000 political refugees. So we've got a lot of diversity and a lot of unique things there. Serving on Ways and Means is the starting point on how folks deal with their day-to-day. So Ways and Means deals with all the tax policy, which is all the revenue generated for the state, and that makes a difference on how we deal with our schools, and how we fund our public institutions for education, and on and on. Transportation is obviously a huge issue for us. We've got I-71 and 75 and 275 and Ronald Reagan Highway. Our infrastructure is lacking and needs some repair. We've got a lot of potholes, but more importantly, we've got a bridge across that's a little bit further south from us, but it's very important to the region. The community and family advancement, I think, dovetails nicely into some of the needs that we have. Finding a way to help folks that are, we've got a lot of single parents in some areas there, and they're trying to find ways where they can get a better paying job, and find ways where they can get an education and climb up and out and have a part of the American dream that they feel is out of reach right now, and also reach out to their children and make sure they have their opportunity to take part. So I think on balance, the needs and the issues that are facing the 28th kind of are going to be finding their way right into those committees.
One piece of legislation that you've worked on very closely, sponsoring, along with Representative Ann Gonzalez, who serves kind of a similar district, only in Franklin County. It's House Bill 40, which will be of interest to some medical professionals. Can you give us some background on that bill?
The purpose of House Bill 40 is to provide the State Medical Board with some flexibility. So, as attorneys, we have a self-policing mechanism in the Supreme Court, and the Chief Justices have the flexibility to take care of some issues with attorneys that might have some other issues. So if you didn't get your CEs completed exactly on December 31st, they might give you an opportunity to find a way to fix that rather than take away your license. If you've got a drug or an alcohol issue, the bar will work with you. So really what this is an opportunity for the state board, medical board, to have the same kind of flexibilities to deal with their members. Some parts of our state have a challenge finding physicians and nurses and nurse practitioners to take care of folks. And if somebody's the only doctor in a county, there's a county in Ohio where there's one doctor, and if he's busy taking care of folks and he might miss his CLE deadline or CE deadline by December 31, the only option they had was to take away his license. And so what this would do is give them an opportunity to create a way of dealing with those types of issues in an intelligent way, so that way we can make sure that we've got the healthcare professionals we need across the state.
The bill passed out of the House not only with bipartisan support, but unanimously.
Yes, it did.
Can you talk about the importance of that unanimous passage? Obviously, that indicates that members from all over the state understand the need for this.
Right. It's also it's an issue that affects not only the rural areas but also the inner city areas. Making sure that we have physicians and healthcare professionals to take care of the needs of not only just the day-to-day types of things, but our seniors and folks that are on public assistance. It's very important to have some flexibility there to make sure we've got those physicians in place. And the continuing education requirements, they're very important, but if you miss maybe an hour or half an hour, we shouldn't be taking away your license and making you pay all these fines and fees at the same time. So it gives the medical board the flexibility to make sure that we've got good professionals in areas with need, and recognizing that sometimes things like that happen, and that way they can continue to take care of the folks that are in their area. And that's kind of really what this bill was meant to address.
We talked about some of your background and how that ties into your role here in the House. You worked on that bill we mentioned with Representative Ann Gonzalez, who has been working on these types of issues. She's now in her third term. Can you talk even briefly or generally about what it's like coming to this institution. Some people have been here longer than others, and they all kind of bring their diverse backgrounds, including Representative Gonzalez, or otherwise.
Sure. I think that's what makes this very interesting. There's 99 personalities here, and then you go to the other side, and there's 33 there. And every single one of us comes with a different subset of skills, and that makes it a lot of fun because you can get involved in other areas of policy with other members, whether they're Republican or Democrat, on things that they care about and they're passionate about. As big as the revised code is, and as complicated as some of these issues are, it's a very comforting thing to know that there are people who are passionate about different areas in the law.
We have a couple minutes left. We usually close out the episode with you talking directly to your constituents, namely letting them know how they can best reach you here in Columbus if they want to talk to you.
I'm sure. First, thank you for having me on today. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure to serve the people of the 28th. I think it's probably the greatest honor I've had personally of all the things that I've gotten to do. As an attorney, I always say I get to solve one problem at a time, but up here we get to help millions of folks rather than just one at a time. So, I'm really lucky to be here, and I thank the folks of the 28th for sending me here, and it's a great privilege and honor to serve them. But I can always be reached in Columbus. Our phone number is 614-466-8120. You can always email us at rep28@ohiohouse.gov. We're always here and available, and talk to Justin in my office. He'll make sure that any issues you have will be dealt with. And if you want to come on up, please come up to Columbus. It's a great place to learn, and a lot of history here in this building. And it is the people's house, and I encourage everybody in the 28th to come on up.
And that information is also located at the bottom of the screen. Representative,
thank you
for sitting down with me
Yes,
today.
sir. Appreciate it.
And we look forward to seeing you again on the next edition of Ohio in Focus, a program that brings state government to you. Thanks for watching.